growing up with CPTSD can cause you to be stuck in this place where you're split in the middle between craving two opposing things. You might be craving connection, right? Because you are so lonely. You've had to do things your whole life by yourself. You never had support. And so you're so lonely, whether you were around people or not, right? Because you can be surrounded by family and still feel lonely when you're not seen, when you're not heard, when you're not validated. That's what I want to talk about today. For those that don't know me, my name is Michele. I am a trauma-informed coach and a somatic experiencing practitioner. I help people overcome complex PTSD using coaching and somatic experiencing. I'm also the founder of the Thriver School of Transformation. Okay, my friends, this is me interrupting me because I want you to know of a valuable resource that is helpful when you're healing from emotional trauma. Transformational healing begins when we start putting the focus on these wounded pieces of us that are inside. From now until the end of this month, I'm offering a year membership in the School of Transformation. So if you think this is a resource that could be helpful for you, make sure you join before the sale ends, the last day of June 2024. Okay, so let's go back to the loneliness and how that gets developed in a situation where you're growing up with people that maybe your parents are narcissistic, maybe they're emotionally immature, maybe they are emotionally unavailable themselves, but you're growing up in this environment where you're not seen, where you don't feel safe to share if you have a rough day. You don't feel safe to say, I don't like it when this person yells at me. You don't feel safe to say, yes, I would like the door closed. You don't feel safe. And what I mean by safe is you don't feel safe to be you, because you, your authentic self, your perspectives, your emotions, your needs, your wants, they were never either validated or they were shamed, or you were made to feel bad for them. And so being you became unsafe. And so that's when we shift into, instead of our authentic self, we shift into our protective self. We're not living life from who we really are. We're living life from who we think we have to be so that other people are okay, so that we're safe. So when that happens in childhood, it creates a template. It creates a template of how we enter relationships. If in childhood, your story is, I'm not seen, I'm not important, everyone is better than me, I need to stay quiet, I need to be invisible, other people matter and I don't, then without realizing it, that's the template that we then enter our next relationships, our friendships. And we wind up with friends that are really controlling, really dominating, and we live out those same patterns. You matter, I don't. I'll stay quiet. I'll do what you want. I will suppress me and be someone else to make you happy. And I do that because I feel like that's what I have to do to stay safe. It was a coping skill in childhood that starts carrying through the rest of our life. Then we go into relationships doing the same thing. Because again, if that's our template and we don't do the inner work to change it, our subconscious mind is going to go to the templates that are us. And if that's at the moment what our subconscious mind deems as us, now we're going to enter romantic relationships with that template. I don't matter, you matter. I'm not seen, you're seen. I'm going to do, give, and hope that maybe you start giving back. But I'm never going to ask. I'm going to hope that you see it, because if I ask, that means I'm selfish, right? Those are the templates. Those are the ways we start entering relationships. And here's what happens. When we were in childhood, we developed those coping skills that created that template, those coping skills of people pleasing, of suppressing authenticity, of making other people more important, of becoming a human doing instead of a human being. We became those things born out of the pain of not being seen, the pain of being emotionally abandoned, the pain of being shamed for who we are. That's what created those coping skills that created the template that we're entering into relationships with. When we do that with each relationship, we create more pain, because as we enter those relationships, not feeling like we can be seen, and we enter those relationships by making ourselves as small as possible and everyone else more important, it creates more pain. And so after a while, at some point, after having been hurt so many times in relationships, then we just start finding safety in isolation. Why am I going to be around people if it hurts so much? Why am I going to bother being in a relationship if I'm just going to be taken advantage of? And so we shift into the isolation. And here's the thing, because we could be with people, right? We were with people in those unhealthy relationships, and yet we were lonely because the people weren't seeing us. They weren't treating us as if we exist, as if they see the real us. So we get rid of those unhealthy relationships, and now it's just us. And it's even more lonely, not because we're alone, but because we stop the coping skills. We stop the people pleasing. There's no one around to please. We're isolating, right? We stop the coping skills and we're just left with us and not really us. And what I mean by that is we don't have the coping skills, but we also don't have the ability to be there for ourselves. We learn how to emotionally support ourselves by how we were emotionally supported. So if we were raised in that environment where we were constantly being ignored or dictated who we were supposed to be or punished for who we really are, then we never learned how to support ourselves, how to be there for ourselves, how to love ourselves, how to take care of the emotions that come up in our body. And so we're alone and we feel this intense loneliness because we don't even have us. We don't have our adult self to be there for those delicate, vulnerable emotions from the past. And yet the thought of being around people sends the nervous system into chaos because the nervous system's like, people, pain. People means I got to not be allowed to be myself. I have to stifle. I can't be authentic. That's painful. So we want connection, but we don't want to be with people. We want to be safe, but then we feel the loneliness of being alone. Talk about a paradox, right? That's what Cptsd feels like. It's extremely painful. And there's no external emotional support and there's no internal emotional support because we needed to have it first in childhood externally so we could internalize it. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. I think anyone that has had narcissistic parents or toxic upbringings or trauma in childhood hopefully understands what I'm talking about. So you're not alone, and you can bridge both of those things together in the sense that you can start learning how to be there for yourself. That's the first thing. We start learning how to emotionally support ourselves. We start learning how to parent the unhealed child pieces of us from the past, which I know sounds a little bit woo-woo. As you start to learn about cell memory and about how the brain compartmentalizes, you realize that there are pieces of us that are stuck in certain ages, certain wounds that were never processed. And until we gather all those pieces together, we won't be able to feel empowered and with our own agency. And so reparenting is a huge thing that I talk about in Thriver School of Transformation. It's a huge part of the Cptsd recovery. So you can start learning how to emotionally support yourself first. When you do that and you get a healthier relationship with yourself, you start changing the template that you were given with how you're supposed to enter relationships. That template you didn't choose. Somebody else that was not healthy created that template for you. As you do this deep inner work to heal, you start creating the template that you want. And the old beliefs, they're not the ones you want. The I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm less than, I don't matter. No, those aren't the ones that you would choose to have as your template. And so as you're healing, you start choosing. You start learning how to upgrade your subconscious beliefs. And when you start doing that and you change your relationship with you change that template, you can then have the connections with others. Sometimes I'm talking with my clients about this, the importance of learning how to be there for ourselves. And in the beginning, they might think, but Michele, we need people in our lives. And trust me, I am all for that. I am all about saying we need to connect with people. We need to be vulnerable. We need to have relationships. But if we continue with the same template, we're only going to create more pain. So we have to do the inner work to change our template, to change our subconscious beliefs so that we can create connections that don't make us feel unsafe. We start learning how to create safety inside of us, and then it starts spreading into our external world in our relationships and whatnot. If you're struggling with this, make sure you check out my resources. I combine coaching and somatic experiencing so that we work with the mind and the body. Check out Thriver School of Transformation because we meet live on Zoom weekly, and it's really the consistency that helps us to overturn things that are so deep in our subconscious mind. So check out those resources if you feel they might be a good fit for you.